Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
Now entering the game for Philly Pressbox Radio, Bill Furman and Jim Chet Chesko.
It's Tuesday, November 18th, 2025. Welcome to the Philly Pressbox Radio Roundtable, brought to you by the Irish Rover Station House in Langhorne, PA, Cavs, Philly Tailgates, and the STT Sports Network. I'm Bill Furman. I'll be your host tonight, along with my partner, Jim Chet Chesko. Chet, the Eagles keep finding a way to win, and it starts with defense. They're back on top of the NFC. The Flyers have now won 7 shootouts in a row. Doesn't mean I like them any better. They're sitting at 21 points in 18 games heading into Thursday night's game. The Sixers are still trying to figure things out, but they're 8-5 after last night's win against the Clippers. And the Baseball Hall of Fame 2026 ballot is out, and it has a lot of Phillies flavor this time around. We have plenty to talk about in Philly sports.
Yeah, that we do, Bill. Nice comeback win by the Sixers Monday night with a couple of key guys unavailable. But, hey, yeah, Paul George back in action. I know that excites you, Bill. Yeah, the Eagles somehow keep getting W's despite continued questions and criticism about the offense or lack of it. As you said, defense, absolutely the key. We will talk about that. And, Bill, you failed to mention the biggest story of the week. We have a new leader atop the pick'em standings, and it ain't you.
I didn't know there was a new leader, but I knew it wasn't me. Hey, we have great guests returning tonight, and our good friend, former Eagles linebacker, special teams captain, and author, and motivational speaker, Kevin Reilly. And I know Kevin is going to be fired up with what he's seeing with that Eagles defense.
Yeah, he loves watching this team play defense. I mean, he's an old linebacker himself, and he's going to talk about it with us. He's here. He's ready to go. Let's do it, Bill.
Let's do it. Let's welcome Kevin Reilly back to Philly Pressbox Radio. Kevin, welcome back, my friend.
Hey, man, glad to be back. Glad seeing you guys, too. You guys look great. Hard to believe that I was a substitute teacher when Bill was in high school.
Right?
Just a few years ago. Just a few. Well, Kevin, let's get right into it. Talk about the Eagles. You and I had a brief phone conversation last Friday before the Eagles-Lions game, and you were telling me how impressed you were with the Eagles' new edge rusher, Jalen Phillips, after his debut in the Green Bay game. I'm guessing you're still feeling pretty darn good about the new guy 2 games in. I mean, he has been very impressive, as has Nakobe Dean. This team is looking good defensively.
Well, and you know what? I just have to feel for Phillips. You know, you're in a situation where you're with a team that's not winning, doesn't look like they have a future, and you're the main reason that they're even, playing, football close to the vest. And then he gets traded, to the world champion Philadelphia Eagles, and he's on a team with 3 or 4 All-Pros already, maybe 5 this year if they continue to play that way. I could see it every time they honed in on him, the smile on his face.
Yeah.
He has to be happy with all that work that he does in the offseason to be with a winner. At some point along the line, it's actually like you deserve it. And I'm just feeling really good for him. And you know what? He didn't do very, much less this week than he did the week before.
Yeah.
He is a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah. Well, Kevin, I thought Chris Collinsworth made a great comment the other night during the game, and he was talking about linebackers, something I know you like. He said the Eagles are now solid at all 3 levels. They've invested in some linebackers, made some great moves with Zach Bond, Nakobe Dean, as Chet mentioned. They're loaded at that linebacker position now, and as Collinsworth said, all 3 levels are pretty darn good.
Yeah, you know what? You talk about Nolan Smith, if he can get healthy again, he comes in. These guys are playing at a very high level. What I've seen on the Eagles right now probably hasn't been seen, I'll just say, for maybe a dozen years, and that's 3 guys that can play all 3 downs. You see so much substitution going on with, the big guy that can take on the tackles, with the fullbacks and the running back and handle the offensive linemen. Then you get the guys that go in when it's 3rd and long, and they're going to cover a portion. And sometimes you'll see those guys being a spy on a quarterback that can run, because, you're going to have to flag down a guy like that. Quarterbacks are faster than, say, really big linebackers. So, it's really good to see. And I think they got some depth there too. You bring along guys like Jalix Hunt, and I think Jeremiah Trott is coming along, although he had two flags last week.
Special teams
that doesn't
penalties.
help you when you get into the film room.
No.
Hey, Kevin, how about the secondary? Can you believe that Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean are just second-year players? Those guys are good.
That's amazing, but one thing that you learn when you look into their talents, and Cooper DeJean really has it, he's got speed. And, he's really built for that position too. Mitchell's a little on the thin side. He's got the speed too. And boy, he can cover people like nobody. DeJean Cooper is really doing a great job. I love the way they tackle out there. They're not like just trying to trip somebody up. Man, they're hitting guys. They're looking at that belt. That belt that you look at, that belt buckle they teach you, in the NFL. Don't look at the shoulders. Don't look at the head. They'll fake you out of your jock strap. Just look at that belt. And you can see those guys doing it. I've never seen that good a tackling in a secondary in a long, long time.
Well, Kevin, I'll tell you one thing that really stuck out to me with the defense. Well, a lot of things did, but when Reed Blankenship, who is really aggressive too back there, you don't hear his name hardly at all, is because that front seven was playing lights out, and it started up front with Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis.
Well, this defense, I was thinking of coming on with you guys. You got Davis and Carter now that are in shape. They're used to getting in and playing, 60, 70 reps now. And the other guys, not that many reps, I guess, but they're playing 80% of the reps out there. And to see those guys in that kind of shape in the fourth quarter. And the other thing is they are really making a art out of blocking passes. And, these guys that are playing defensive line and edge rushers in the National Football League now, they played a little bit of basketball. And, this is the kind of stuff you see, guys that can time things, that can jump a little higher, and they seem to really have figured out, I don't have a chance to get to the quarterback, so I'll hold my stance, I'll get myself ready, and I'll leap. And look at how much it's coming in. One of the other things that I'd have to tell you that I think is really unbelievable, I looked at some of the stats today. The Eagles have only had 4 turnovers in 10 games.
Yeah.
Now, that's good news, but it's got a little bad news on it, because I think Jalen only has 2 interceptions, and I think the other 2 are fumbles.
I think just one.
I think it is. So you're right. It's 1, and the other 3 are fumbles. And you just wonder if he's being too cautious, with guys that are open. You see these other quarterbacks that are throwing, and they just have such great confidence in their receivers, and they usually have a step on somebody. And I wonder if that is on his mind, not to have, a lot of turnovers. But that being said, we're not playing, we're playing to win, but we're not playing to shake it up and take it to the next level. And I just hope we see that. One of the things I think, and I just did a little research on it, we've got 5 teams that are each are either 8-2 or 9-2. And it was interesting to look at the difference in the offensive yardage versus the defensive yardage. You take a look at it, you've got the Rams at 100 differential. You got the Patriots at 86. You got the Broncos at 65. And you got the Eagles at 33. Hard to believe that somebody that has that small, differential is really at 8-2. But they've been making it, and they've just got to get better at giving themselves a little bit of cushion. That's what I'm looking for going forward.
Well, yeah,
Kevin,
I was going to say I agree with you on that too, because I think, Kevin, one of the things that is puzzling to a lot of fans, they get in these 3rd and 20 situations sometimes, and they run the ball. They don't want to turn the ball over. I think they would rather run the ball, gain 5 yards, punt, play defense. That's good as long as it's working, right?
Well, Bill, I think you're onto something there. And if you probably looked into some of the things that they study, the coaches, they're into the numbers anymore. How many times will this work? What are my percentages? They're dealing with percentages more now than gut, although it doesn't hurt you to have a lot of gut. The only thing that I think of is our defensive coordinator. He doesn't seem like he deals with statistics. He deals with the guys he knows he's got on the field and how they play well, and he tries to put them in their best positions to make plays. You look at Vaughn, and, because of Vic, he is just 100% better than he was before he came here with the Eagles. He's got confidence. They put him in a position where he's a big guy that can run. He's not been dominant in the last couple of games, but that's because the front four are really, really taking on a lot of the leverage and getting to the quarterback and forcing, quick throws and fumbles.
Kevin, I'm something of a masochist, and I listen to a lot of Philly sports talk radio. Bill is not a fan. Big topic the last couple of days, a Derek Gunn report that he mentioned on the postgame show Sunday after a win that made the Eagles 8-2. Him saying that there's a lot of people within the Eagles organization. He didn't say if it was players or management or what, but people who are frustrated with Jalen Hurts, that he kind of drives them nuts. And, it maybe has something to do with him not throwing enough, taking the chances that you said, or the way he pats the ball, waiting for guys to get open, but they're frustrated with Jalen Hurts. Is D-Gun onto something? Are people telling him something that's not true? Jeff McClain says he's making something out of nothing. What do you think is going on here?
Well, I have to admit that surprised the heck out of me, because Jalen is he is such a leader, but he's not one of these rah-rah guys. You see him when he gets on the bench, you couldn't tell if they were ahead by 12 or down by 12. He's thinking about what he's got to do next. Jeremiah Trotter brought that up on the postgame show. Jeremiah is a great ball player, but, man, he does not say many positive things about anybody. He almost gets on there and he's the negative guy. And he said he had insider information on that. Well, what does that mean? Is that one mouth to another mouth, and all of a sudden that's a problem? I find it hard to believe what they're saying among the ranks there. I just really do, because I've been watching Jalen Hurts since he was a freshman at Alabama. I went to that game. A lot of the guys I went to the game with sold their tickets and stayed out, and it's an unbelievable tailgate there. I'll tell you, just unbelievable. And I decided I'd go into the game, and I'm watching this guy on the sideline, without a helmet, and he's throwing passes, warming up. That guy looks like a linebacker to me. It was freshman. He was a freshman then. Jalen Hurts looked like a linebacker when he was a freshman. I kept my eyes on him. He had a great first half. They pulled him out in the fourth quarter because they were so far ahead. And the first thing he did, I'm watching him come off the field, he went over and shook every lineman's hand, then the wide receivers and the running backs. Then he goes over to the head coach, and I can see him doing this. He wants to put on the earphones so he can listen, and now he's watching what the second-string quarterback is doing on the field. Most guys go back and sit on the bench and say, how about me? That was a great game, huh? He's always trying to learn. I really have to take what they're saying out there with a grain of salt, because I just don't believe a guy like that loses his focus that quickly.
Well, two things. One, if on your point, Kevin, if I heard that came from A.J. Brown, I would feel one way about it. Tell me it came from Landon Dickerson. Now maybe we got something, right? I mean,
Bill, you're absolutely right. Chet, I think you agree with us too, and those guys are having a little bit of a problem, the offensive line. They're really beat up, and it's starting to show. He's not getting the time he got. Landon Dickerson's hurt. It looks like we got a couple other guys that are playing hurt. So, I thought that layoff would have done us, a good deal of everybody getting healed. And one of the things that guys do is they say, yeah, I'm good now. And they go back in and they get injured if they would have waited another week. And I think that brotherhood there is pretty strong.
Well, Kevin, as you look at the play selection, It appears to me, they're going to continue to try to run the ball, right? That's what they are. That's who they are. But it seems to me almost like they're trying to create a "we are tougher than you" type of environment up front on both lines. And in turn, they're getting themselves a little bit of trouble trying to do that. And thus the frustration with the wide receivers.
Well, yeah, not only that, but I don't know why they continue to try to go to the guard tackle gap. It's not there anymore. Other teams are defending it. You can see them sneaking up to the line of scrimmage. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to see him coming on the outside shoulder of the tackle or the outside shoulder of the tight end. We've got a great tight end that can block also. And I'll tell you, Calcaterra is not doing badly either. Yeah. He's improved 100%. He's not a really big guy, but his technique is much better. And I just like to see him hit those corners. That's where Saquon can do his, twirly and, get out of trouble if it's there. He's just getting really stopped at the line of scrimmage, and he doesn't have any momentum. You get a 5 or 6 yards sprint to the tight end side, you got a little momentum up, and you're going to be able to knock somebody over or maybe get out of a tackle. But he's actually butting into his own guys who are getting pushed back a little bit, and I think that's due to injuries and them defensing us, knowing that we're going to do that so many times a game.
Kevin, lots of criticism about the play calling from Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni to an extent, especially down the stretch of the last 2 games. They looked like they were almost trying to give the games away to Green Bay and Detroit. Some questionable calls, throwing on 4th and 6 against Green Bay, then going with the tush push from your own 29-yard line in the final couple of minutes against the Lions this past Sunday night. What do you make of that? And, are they just making dumb decisions right there or what?
Well, I believe that teams are really working a little bit during practice every day, every week that they get with the Eagles, knowing that this tush push is going to come. And at some point, that percentage of being successful is going to diminish because, the other guys, the team got some talent too. What I would like to see on the tush push, which they've done only twice, was the time that they gave the Saquon, they just shoved the ball out to him, and everybody was closing in. And then when Jalen took it and ran around, then you got to kind of have a sense for what are they doing, what do they got going here. And Jalen is also he's been doing it, I guess, all year. But when he leaves his feet, he doesn't have that muscle that he has with a 600-pound bench press. I get a kick out of the guys that are jumping on the defense like they're going to go somewhere. It's like riding a wave in. Once they lose their gravity from their feet being planted, they get forced with whatever, the rest of the guys are going. They just float along. So the tush push is probably not going to reach the success pattern that it did last year, but I think it's still a great play.
Well, Kevin, as PJ says right here, should have punted on 4th and 1. I think we all agree with that. But I think it goes back to my other comment. I almost feel like Sirianni is just getting a little arrogant, maybe. Like why would you possibly have gone for that on 4th down this week? And he did it last week. It's almost like he's like, well, we're bad dudes here, and we're going to do what we want. And if you stop us, you can't score on us anyway. Well, that if there is that kind of attitude, it's going to catch you.
Yeah, there was also a play that I just couldn't believe. They were trying to run some time off the clock, and it was 1st and 10, and Jalen throws a bomb.
Yeah.
And it was in the 4th quarter, and I'm going, who called that play? I mean, we're down to like 3 minutes, and you're just begging for time to go off the clock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that was a 4-second, 5-second play. It would have been great if it hit. Everybody would have been happy with it. But I said, man, that is not. And I think his calls, especially in the 4th quarter, can get a little, are you kidding me kind of thing? Like he thinks he's a little smarter than the rest of the people. So now this is what we're going to do. The other thing, I don't know the guy. I've never met him, but I just think he's one of those guys that just rides on emotion. and he can't help himself. You see some of the other coaches are just, they're just stern the whole game. As a matter of fact, watching some of the games over the weekend, I couldn't believe how some of these coaches were in really tight situations. They're just looking at their thing. They're talking on the radio. He's running up and down the sidelines half the time. Nothing wrong with that, but I mean, like, he is just one of those guys that's very emotional, and I think it affects his play calling sometimes.
Well, Kevin, it is Eagles-Cowboys week. Any special memories of your playing days, Eagles-Cowboys, or, in the 45-plus years that you've been watching this great rivalry?
You want one that's going to make you laugh?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay, so we're playing the Dallas Cowboys at Dallas, and I'm on the special teams. I'm the captain of the special teams, and it was a tight game going back and forth. And it was my fifth time to run down under the kickoff team and try to hit the Dallas wedge. Now, the Dallas wedge at that time had Jethro Pugh, Harvey Martin, Too Tall Jones, and little Randy White. Okay. Randy and I grew up together, so we're friends. And he was the smallest of those guys at about 6'4", 258. So my job as a wedge buster is really, let's just say we have 2 wedge busters, and there's 4 guys in that, in that shoulder to shoulder lineup, and they're going to run shoulder to shoulder, and we've got to take down 3 of them in order for us to get a plus grade. Because as our special team coach, Dick LeBeau, would say, who I love, that guy was a great player, and he understood us. He said, guys, I know you'd like to take a guy one-on-one, but if that happens, then we've got the running back against our kicker, and that's not where we want to be. So, that we had to get guys down. So it was the only way you get 2 guys down is by meeting them shoulder to shoulder, and you're going to get really smacked. And then the other way is to throw a cross body block. And they get a little irritated about that because at that time it was illegal just to throw your body into the wedge on a side. Not only went to the legs, you kind of went to the thighs on that. Well, LeBeau gives us a little lecture about how we have to get off the field, especially for this game, if we have an injury. Because back in that day, you had 3 timeouts, but if you laid on the field, it cost you a timeout. Now that doesn't happen. These guys, they lay on the field for 3 minutes, they go off, their earring came out or something. I don't know. And then they go back on. All right. But you never seen guys lay around like I've seen them in the last 10 years. So anyway, Bill LeBeau is giving us a pep talk before the game. You guys, you're going to be a major, influence on this game today. I want everybody to play their best. But remember what I tell you. You can't, whatever happens, you can't go down and cost us a timeout. That is only for the 2-minute drill in the offense. He said, I'll wave you a flag. When you get over here, I'll give you strong drugs, but get off the field. So we all took it to, okay, we can't, we don't want to be a guy to lose the game. So here we go, getting ready to go on our 5th kickoff. And Bobby Picard, the other West Buster, and I, we go over to Dempsey, Tom Dempsey. Demps, can you please kick it out of the end zone just once? He said, I'll give it a try, fellas. Well, he gave it all he had, but he kicked a line drive. And behind that Dallas wedge was Newhouse, Robert Newhouse. If you remember him, he was 5'8", I think 375 pounds. It was like trying to have a manhole cover, and he was down, and these guys had a 10-yard head start now. So I'm thinking to myself, I got to throw a cross-body block. And I throw the cross-body block, and I get dinged. Man, I got smacked. I get up, and all I can think of is I got to get off this field. So I'm looking. Oh my God! I can see the green on the sideline, and I'm limping over there because my right leg is numb. I don't have any sight in this eye, and I have tunnel vision in this one. But from the tunnel vision, I can see the green, and I'm still limping over. I'm getting better, and all I can hear is Bergie's voice getting closer to me. He's going, Riley, 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 and I'm like, what? Next thing I know, he's got my helmet, but he's got it by the face mask because it's on sideways. I was looking through my ear hole. The suspension helmet went this way. I get to the sidelines, and they're all worried about me and everything. And so we're going home on the plane, And we won that game, thank God. And Bill gets up and he gets on the megaphone. These guys used to get the megaphone from the stewardesses. And he says, I got to tell you something. You know how Bill talked. I got to tell you something about Kevin Reilly. He was running out there, and I thought I saw the first man in the world to ever be running around like that with a broken neck.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, shoot.
We had fun in those days, man.
Kevin, before we run out of time, do you still have your book still available for the holidays? What do you got going on with that?
I'll tell you what. I had to tell the president up at Villanova, who I ran into last year. He and I have some fun against, with each other, and he thinks I'm one of the, just a football player, and I think of him as just somebody is a little full of himself. But we get along, and so I had sent my books out to a couple of the people at Villanova, and I sent one to him. So I run into him doing a broadcast for the Villanova football game. He's got the president's box, and I'm up there on the same floor. And he says, so, Mr. Reilly, so you're an author? And I said, yes, Father. And I'll tell you what, you got to tell Father Delican that I want to get that C in grammar and English brought up to an A, because now I'm an author, and I'm a well-read author. And he said, well, to see the father, the good padre, you'll have to go down to Doherty Hall and dig him up, because he's in the cemetery right there. So anyway, thanks for asking. And we've just passed our 12,000th book being printed. And, it's a natural for me when I get up and do a 40-minute, speech to an audience. And I just tell them, if you want to know the rest of the story, I can't get it in here in 40 minutes. And, it's amazing. And I sign every book. Before the pandemic, guys, about 1 out of 10 people would tell me a story about one of their brothers, one of their sisters, one of their siblings, having an issue. And could I make it out to them? And I would. And well, what's the issue? Tell me in a footnote here. And they would tell me. The pandemic, I mean, this is not an observation from, some kind of study, but it's my observation. After that, it was anywhere from 2 to 3 people would tell me about a younger person. I would say, 15 to 22, that because of the pandemic, just didn't get moving in the right direction. And, that's one of the things that I really feel sorry about, what happened to those kids during that pandemic. There was no guidebook to show you how to get through it, and a lot of them were really hurt. But anyway, I hope the book continues to sell, and I hope it's helping people.
And how can people get it if they want to get it for the holidays?
Well, if they go online and go to www.kevinreilly.com, that book will be there. Or they can text me or send me an email. It's kevinreilly4652@gmail.com. And I'll even send them one. So, that works both ways. I'm all on the purpose now. This isn't making me a gold mine, but I love helping people, especially people that are having issues.
You're a good man, Kevin Reilly. We appreciate you joining us. I'm traveling tomorrow. I will call you and see you either Thursday or Friday with that package. That package I have for you.
All right, bud.
All
see
right,
you later,
man.
Guy. Good talking to both of you. You're doing a great job.
All right,
thanks, Kevin. Take care, man.
Appreciate you.
See ya.
All right, Chet. Kevin, great as always. Always good to have him with us. Can't get enough. Hey, Chet, Philly Pressbox Radio is part of the STT Sports Network, as in Set the Trends. It's a network set up by our pal Phil Stiefel, host of the terrific Trending in the AM show that you can find every weekday morning on the STT Sports Network YouTube channel. Check out Phil. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Phil's show is on there, and so is ours. Yep. You can find Philly Pressbox Radio there in addition to on our own YouTube channel and on our Facebook page. Again, it's the STT Sports Network setting the trends for what sports talk should be. Hey, Chet, on a little side note, I just saw late this afternoon where Phil is ending the pizza business.
Yeah, how about that? Phil announced today he and his wife are selling their Fox's Pizza business that they've owned for, 18 years.
Have sold.
Closed it today. Yep. So he's out of the pizza business. I never got my free pie that he promised me, Bill.
Well, and Fox is open tomorrow under different ownership. So
yes. So congrats.
Today was transition day. Congrats to Phil and his wife. I'm assuming this is a good thing for them. They seem pretty excited about it.
Absolutely. Way to go,
All
Phil.
right. Chet, holiday week is coming up. Tell us what's happening as the holidays roll around at the Irish Rover Station House.
Always a pleasure to visit the Irish Rover Station House in Langhorne, PA. Bill, you know that. Terrific food, always 24 beers on tap. The Rover has trivia every Wednesday at 7 p.m., killer burger Thursdays, dinner specials Thursday through Sunday, and music most weekends. Oh, this Thursday through Sunday, they got something special going on. They do this every year, the week before Thanksgiving. It is Friendsgiving, a celebration for, all the friends of the Rover. Shareable Thanksgiving menu, special cocktails. I love that they do this every year. And, I can now start promising and promoting one of my favorite events. That is the annual Ugly Sweater Party at the Irish Rover. That'll be happening this year, Thursday, December 18th at 7 p.m. I will talk a lot more about that in the weeks ahead. It is definitely on my calendar. If you haven't been there yet, check this place out. The Irish Rover Station House is on Bellevue Avenue in Langhorne and on the web at irishroverstationhouse.com.
Hi, football fans. This is Merrill Reese, and you're listening to Bill and Chet on Philly Pressbox Radio. It's good!
That Eagles defense is good. Hey, Chet, I heard from, maybe just one of your friends or two or something that you hold your own ugly sweater contest every Friday and Saturday night when you go out.
Ouch!
I don't know, maybe that's just a rumor. But I throw it out.
Guy.
But I throw it out there for you. Right, Malloy? I mean, right?
The guys in ZZ Top actually wrote a song about me, Sharp Dressed Man.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh. Wait, the Flyers are staying in the hunt, winning shootouts, for goodness sake, to get that second point each night. Damn, Flatter has been pretty good in the goal until the other night in Dallas where he got roughed up. It's early, but he looks like the number one goalie at this point.
Look, I don't know how good he is. Even with that rough night in Dallas, though, his numbers are still pretty good. Let's see if I have those numbers right here. Yeah, he is 6-4-1, a 2.42 goals against. Not bad in this day and age. Sam Ersson, 3-1-2 with a 3.30. So, I don't know that either of those guys would be the long-term answer, Bill. They got some other guys coming up behind them who I think are, more of the future. They got a couple of 20-year-old guys, Yegor Zavragin and Carson Bjornsson. Bjornsson is playing up at Lehigh Valley along with Alexei Kolosov. So they are making a renewed push with Kolosov, too. He played well in the brief couple of games that he did play this year. So the other guy, though, Zavragin, considered a top prospect with strong KHL stats right now. And as I said, Bjornsson been looking pretty good at Lehigh Valley. So we'll see about the future. For now, like I said, Vladar and Sam Ersson, they're kind of bridge the gap guys. Maybe they can sneak into the playoffs. Long way to go still this season. But, Bill, they're winning those shootouts. I love the shootouts. You don't.
Well, you would. But because we'll just leave that at that because it really has nothing to do with the hockey game.
Because I'm not a dinosaur, Bill.
That's
I'm not a dinosaur. That's why.
You tell me you wouldn't rather watch 5 more minutes of 3-on-3 than
I'm telling you that.
I'm
telling you that. They give you 5 minutes. If you can't score within 5 minutes, that's enough. Why
give
kill
another
these guys? Why kill these guys in the regular season? You go to a shootout. I love it.
Because they're paying them millions of dollars to play 5 more minutes. Come on, man. Get with the program. Anyway, back to this offense. Little light on the offensive side still. They don't have that guy yet, and it's not Michkov yet, that can light it up and be that 30, 35 goal scorer. They still need some of that, although scoring overall in the league is down.
Yeah. I mean, Konechny is, still Konechny. Zegras has looked really good. We've talked about him over the past few weeks. That was a great acquisition. So, we'll see how this season progresses. They got Owen Tippett. They got Forster. So they got some guys.
They're not them 30 goal guys, though. Got to have some guys that can hit the back of the net.
Where's Bill Barber when you need him?
Oh, that's right.
Tim Kerr.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Tim Kerr.
Hey, Bill, you know what? I'm going to change our schedule a little bit. I'm going to hit the bell right now.
Oh,
you know
my
why?
goodness.
Yeah, because I can't wait for this. And the real reason is it happens to have something to do with hockey. That is why. So we were just talking Flyers, and we're going to talk a little more Flyers right now in this form right here.
Hey, watch it now.
Any longtime Philadelphia Flyers fan close to my age remembers waking up on a Sunday morning in November 1985 to the tragic news that the team's all-star goaltender, Pelle Lindbergh, had been in a horrific car crash in Summerdale, New Jersey, the 26-year-old behind the wheel of his Porsche having driven drunk. The crash left Pelle brain dead. He officially passed the next morning and left 2 passengers with extensive injuries. Well, there's a new documentary movie out in select Philly and South Jersey area theaters from director Charlie Min about that incident and Lindbergh's career called The Swede of Philadelphia. While there's a lot to like about the film, there's also lots not to like. Let's start with some of the negatives. Min spends way too much time, about half the film, in fact, reviewing what happened the night of the tragic accident, repeatedly going over Pelle's actions that night, recreating the route he took from the Bennigan's restaurant to the Flyers practice facility, the Coliseum at the time, to the scene of the crash. It was too much, really. Many of the interviews were repetitive, and the editing and pacing could have been better also. Plus, it would have been great if we had learned more about Pelle Lindbergh, the person, beyond the fact that he liked driving fast and he idolized Bernie Parent. Why no file interview clips from Pelle? The only clip we got from him speaking was when he was handed the Vezina Trophy from Bernie in June 1985.
Pelle Lindbergh. First of all, I want to thank my teammates. Without them, this wouldn't be possible. But the man I really want to thank tonight is the guy standing to the left of me, Bernie Parent. He told me everything I know about to play about hockey in America. Thank you, Bernie.
Now, having said that, there were lots of interesting interview clips with Pelle's 1980s teammates, including Rick Tocchet, Murray Craven, Mark Howe, Brian Propp, Bob Frosty Froese, and Dave Brown, plus reporters Al Morganti and Bill Meltzer, the great Bernie Parent, also Pelle's good friend Kevin Cady, and the 2 people who were in the car with Lindbergh at the time of the crash and survived the accident, Kathy McNeil and Ed Parvin. There was also about 10 minutes of material that was shoehorned into the film very late in the process to cover the fact that Bernie Parent passed away on September 21st of this year, a mere 6 weeks before the film came out. So, as Bernie was Pelle's boyhood idol and later friend and goaltending coach, we got a fresh interview with Bernie's daughter, Kim Parent, who was just 12 or 13 when she first met Pelle. And some of the Bernie Parent clips were really moving in the wake of his recent passing.
I miss you, buddy. I miss you a lot. And we'll get together soon. Wow, what a time this is going to be for eternal life. Isn't that awesome? I miss you, and I love you.
In a nutshell, The Swede of Philadelphia was clearly made with affection for its subject, but the structure was a bit odd, and if you're not an old Flyers fan, you'll probably come away from the nearly 2-hour documentary somewhat disappointed. Still, worth seeing if you are a Flyers fan or a Pelle Lindbergh fan for sure. My grade, B-.
Interesting.
Yeah, I went out last night, a rare Monday night outing, Bill. I wanted to see it before our show tonight, and then I slapped together the review. So, like I said, it was good, but I was expecting more. And literally the first half of the movie was just reviewing what happened that night with, Pelle drinking and then hanging out at the Coliseum and driving. And, of course, he shouldn't have driven. But, it was a little too much of that.
Yeah. Didn't you also mention a couple of weeks ago, didn't we talk about the Saquon Barkley show that's on the documentary?
Yeah, you mentioned that. I haven't seen it. There's also an Allen Iverson documentary out there too that I haven't gotten.
It must not have been us here talking about it. But I watched the Saquon Barkley one the other day, and quite honestly, I wasn't a real fan of that.
Huh.
it painted the picture of coming from New York to Philly and all that and what all happened there. But it also, in my opinion, it showed you a very greedy football player that just wanted money.
Really?
And I just, my takeaway to that wasn't quite what I was expecting. I don't know, maybe because I was thinking it was going to be like the Kelsey one that was just tremendous.
Yeah, that was really good.
This was not that, in my opinion.
Okay.
All right. Hey, Chet, what could be better than the Eagles tailgating with the best tailgaters in Philadelphia? Bob Cavanaugh and the gang at Cavs Philly Tailgates.
Yeah, Cavs Philly Tailgates has been cooking up a terrific catering business for some 35 years now. Known best for their tailgate parties, Cavs is a 3-time winner of Philly Tailgate's Jack Daniels Great American Tailgate Party Contest and a past winner of the Philly Daily News Tailgate Award as well. Cavs does corporate events, parties, you name it. Of course, Cav does host tailgates before all Eagles games outside the link. So, yes, there will be tailgate parties at the upcoming games. The Black Friday game against the Bears, that is, believe it or not, a week from this Friday, and the December 14th Sunday game against those Las Vegas Raiders. They stink, by the way. Get details on all events at Cavs' website, phillytailgates.com. And if you have any questions, you can email them at cavscatering@verizon.net. Cavs Philly Tailgates is the way to go.
Hey, Chet, before we get to the Sixers, a little late afternoon Phillies transactions. 40-man roster players now. Andrew Painter, outfielder Gabriel Rincones Jr., and right-handed pitcher Alex McFarland, can't say I ever heard of the last two, are now on the 40-man roster. Going to be a lot of new faces in Philly.
Yes, sir.
All right, Ted. Sixers playing up and down, trying to find their identity, but they're 8-5 after last night's win to the Clippers. What say you with Paul George back?
All right. Well, first of all, the Clippers aren't a great team. They got a lot of injuries, but the still pretty decent James Harden was back in town. He had a tremendous first period with 17 points, but then he started showing his age after that. The Sixers, a little shorthanded as well. Joel Embiid out for a 4th straight game. Kelly Oubre missed the game with an injury. Tyrese Maxey, though, he is healthy and looking great, playing very great, good so far this year. 39 points in that comeback win Monday night. VJ Edgecombe, we mentioned, has cooled down a bit, but he did hit a big 3 down the stretch in the Monday game to give the Sixers the lead. Hey, as you often say, Bill, take the W. But
Absolutely.
Bill, the big news, Paul George is back in action finally. He missed the first 12 games of the season while ramping up. There's that expression once again. He started the Monday night game, scored the first 5 points of the game, but finished with only 9 in 21 minutes. He's on a minutes restriction. In fact, he will not play in the Wednesday game, but they have a game Thursday then too, back-to-back, so he will probably be in there Thursday. Joel Embiid may be back on Wednesday or Thursday. He's listed as doubtful for Wednesday, but he will almost certainly play in one of those 2 games. Going to be interesting to see how those guys are utilized and how everybody, blends together. Hopefully they will blend together when everybody is healthy. Next up for the Sixers, the red-hot Toronto Raptors, Wednesday evening at the Xfinity Mobile Arena.
Yeah, and Tyrese Maxey is starting out the season like he wants to be first-team All-NBA and possibly the best player in the NBA.
Yeah, he's fun to watch. He's fun to watch. He makes some acrobatic shots. He's got no fear. I mean, for a little guy, relatively speaking, he'll drive the lane against anybody. He doesn't care. Bill, I mentioned Joel Embiid missed his 4th straight game. He is said to be close to returning, maybe Wednesday, certainly by Thursday. We shall see. But in the meantime, you know what? It seems like a good time to hear from the big guy through the talented Joe Conklin. This was one of my September chat with Joe Conklin. If he were being honest, what do you think Joel Embiid would say about his health and the Sixers season?
I just I want to give everybody an update. I'm still limping a little bit. My knee hurts. I'm hoping to get a new meniscus for Christmas. That'll be my 3rd. Next month I'm gonna have dysentery. And then the following month, I'll probably get yellow fever and then Bell's palsy again because I'll play with half a face, one leg, blurred vision. And then by the playoffs, I'll get a little bit of leprosy.
This guy's had every disease known to man. It's crazy.
I could watch that over and over.
That's just too good. Too good. All right, Chet, it is time. And since you already rubbed it in, it's time to make our weekly picks. I didn't even know the standings until you had to decide to rub it in.
Yeah.
How did Boop, Bobatron Jr., you and me do in week 11?
Well, I did great. Less great for Boop and you. Here you go. I was 5-1. Boop 4-2. Bill, you went a pedestrian 3-3. Pedestrian. Remember that word?
It is pedestrian.
Yeah. So there's the standings. I am now in the top spot. I don't know how long it'll last, but I'm going to enjoy it this week. What the hell? Boop just 1 game back. Bill, you are now 3 games back. That's the farthest anybody's been back this season, I believe. So you got some making up to do, Bill.
Well, but I'm playing against you, so there's always a chance.
Yeah, I guess.
All right. So just to clarify, we make our picks, how we make our picks this year. We're picking the winner of 5 games every week, no point spreads, always the NFC East games, always a Sunday night football game, and then we throw in additional games as needed to get to 5. So you ready for this week, Chet?
I'm ready. Boop is ready. I got his picks. Haven't looked at them, but I got them.
Okay, so Washington is off. That gives us the Giants at the Lions. The Lions minus 10.5.
All right, Giants at Lions. Boop says, you just know that this week Detroit will score more than 9 points in the first quarter. His pick, obviously, the Lions. How can anybody pick the Giants? I'm not going to. Detroit will win this one easily.
No. Okay, let's go to Tampa Bay at the Rams. Sunday night football. The Rams are minus 6.5. Tampa's fallen on some hard times with their injuries.
Yeah, they got plenty of injuries. Boop says it's a good thing the Birds got to play LA when they did because McVay and company are starting to pick up ahead of steam. Boop's pick is the Rams. I got to pick the Rams at home as well.
For sure. Okay, a couple makeup games, fill-in games. Steelers at the surprising Chicago Bears, and the Bears are favored by 3 points.
Yeah, Bears have been playing quite well this year. Let's see what Boop has to say, if I can find it. There we go. Chicago kicks off their Pennsylvania week. Yeah, they're in Philly the following week with the first of, 2 losses. Boop already told us he's picking the Steelers this week and the Eagles next week, I guess. So, yeah, he's taking the Steelers. I am not. I'm taking Chicago at home.
Yeah, I'm taking Chicago too. I don't know the status of Aaron Rodgers' possible broken bone in his left wrist, but the Bears are playing good enough to win. I'm going to go Bears here.
Mm-hmm.
Colts at Kansas City. The Chiefs are still 3.5 point favorites, and they are fighting for their lives.
5-5 they are now. How about that?
A loss here might knock them out of the playoffs, let alone they already aren't going to win their division.
All right. Boop says it is mid-November, and my Chiefs over 12.5 wins futures bet is already toast. Yeah, I'll say. Nothing wrong with a 12-5 team, though. Come on, Boop. Give it up. Boop is picking the Chiefs. I'm picking the Chiefs at home as well, Bill. Sorry.
No, I'm picking the Colts because they're going to win the game. So
okay.
All right. Then they're coming off a bye week themselves, so we'll see how that works out. That gets us the Eagles at Dallas. Eagles minus 4.5. Now, I got that spread before last night's game, so I don't know if that changed with the way Dallas played last night or not.
I saw 3.5 this morning, so it may have come down a point.
4.5 was as of last night. Who you like?
We don't use the point spreads anyway, so it doesn't matter. Boop says, is it me or does Dallas week just not have the same juice anymore? Yeah, you are correct, Boop. Yeah. It's just not the same, especially when the Cowboys aren't really that good. Boop is picking the Eagles. Bill, I'm going to shock you here. I'm taking Dallas to win this game. It's just a hunch, and I'm not just doing this, to tighten up the standings. I think Dallas is going to somehow win this game at home. In fact, I'll give you a score, 34-24 Cowboys. Don't hate me.
I'm not going to hate you, but I don't see them scoring 34 points. I think their offense is pretty good. And I think this will be a good game. And this could be one that the Eagles could lose. I wouldn't be surprised, but I also think the Dallas defense is really not good, and a chance for the Eagles to open it up on offense and play a lot better. So I'm going Birds, as always.
All right. Yeah, I'm taking the Dallas Cowboys. Sorry, everybody.
Well, you usually do.
Yeah.
All right.
But they often split their season series. I think that's going to happen again this year. Robbie thinks so as well. Malloy thinks I'm out of my mind. Not the first time he has said that. So.
Yeah. All right. Next up, our margin of victory poll. How are our standings after 11 weeks?
Well, you know what? They didn't change at all last week because we all picked the same last week. We all took New England. Yeah, everybody took New England.
I didn't know Jets. You did. I knew me and Boop did.
Yeah. So no change in the standings. We all picked up 13 points. Bill's still up by 39 over me and by 58 over you. Now, the good news is the team that I'm going to go with this week, Boop cannot pick because he already used them. So let's see who Boop picks. Boop is picking the Baltimore Ravens over the Jets, which is probably a wise pick. But I'm taking, Bill, Seattle, the Seahawks, coming off that tough loss to the Rams. They're going to beat the crap out of Tennessee and hopefully get me a lot of points. So I'm taking the Seahawks.
Well, I'm going on a reach, and I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Whoa!
Who put up 40 this week somehow. But they're playing pretty good ball, and I'm running out of teams to take that actually were favorite. So I took Jacksonville in this one.
Okay. I thought you would have taken Seattle too because you didn't use them yet, but too late now. Can't change. Sorry.
Didn't I use Seattle yet? Well, I didn't get the updated list, so I don't know.
Hey, that's up to you to keep your own list. Come on, man.
There's my list. It's every week I write them on the corner of this sheet. That's my list. Right
so
there.
Organized.
Well,
so
I put so much effort into this.
I see that. That's why you're in last place, pal.
Yeah, I hear you. That's I used the same method last year when I was in first place too.
Hey, while we're talking football, let me put up the standings right here. This does not include the Cowboys' win last night, so they are 4-5-1 over in that final spot over there. They're still in the hunt technically, but yeah, the Eagles back in the top spot at 8-2. They do hold the tiebreaker over the Rams. They also hold the tiebreaker over Tampa Bay, over Green Bay, and hopefully they will also hold it over Chicago when they beat the Bears a week from Friday. And I'm telling you right now, I will be picking the Eagles to beat the Bears. So
let me ask you while you have that up, put that back up there.
Yeah.
So I can ask you a question. So besides the Bears, obviously, which are a surprise, what of those 11 teams surprises you?
Let's see. I didn't think Seattle was going to be this good. So Seattle is playing pretty well. Minnesota, I thought, would be better with JJ McCarthy and whoever else they had filling in for him. That would be that Carson Wentz, by the way. How about Carolina 6-5? That's the shocker.
Yeah. The shocker to me, I think, is this Vikings team at 4-6. I'm not a JJ McCarthy fan, and
the Bears. Yeah, the Bears too.
Oh yeah, well certainly the Bears.
Yeah.
But I thought the Vikings would step back, just as I told you Washington would step back.
Yeah.
And they have, because they're not getting good quarterback play. As for Seattle, Sam Darnold the other day threw 4 interceptions. He was terrible.
Yeah,
in that game. So
he can look really good or he can look really bad, Sam.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be interesting as we get down the stretch here. I think the Eagles and the Rams are kind of separated from this group as it is right now. And Eagles holding the tiebreaker is a good thing.
Yeah, I do think the Eagles and the Rams are the two best teams in the division, or in the conference. I'm sorry. So they will very likely, I think, meet in the NFC title game, unless, of course, the Eagles go belly up from all this nonsense that's going on in the locker room.
That ain't going to happen. All right. Great guest tonight, Kevin Reilly, who is coming to Philly Pressbox Radio next week, back at our regular Wednesday time.
You know what? I forgot to add all that information, but I do know who the guest is, and let me see if I have his picture. I think I do. It's our old friend, Bill. I can't find the picture, but he's in here somewhere. And it's Big Al Zafiri. We're going to have Big Al back on the show next week talking all sorts of Philly sports with us. Oh, there he is in his pink Delco Day shirt. Big Al to talk Philly sports next week, Bill. That's going to be fun.
All right. Looking forward to that as always. Hey, Chet, the 2026 Baseball Hall of Fame ballot is out. Cole Hamels makes his first appearance on the list, joining Bobby Abreu, Jimmy Rollins, Chase Utley, Hunter Pence. There's all kinds of Philly people in there. If you're a voter, who you picking? You know, the real voters actually get 10 that they can select.
Well, you know, every year we seem to have Kevin Cooney on in January to talk about his ballot and who he thinks. I didn't make any real predictions here, but as far as those former Phillies, I'm still going to campaign for Jimmy Rollins to get in there. I think J-Roll deserves to be in there. Chase Utley, less so, but he will get some support. Cole Hamels, I'm sorry, Robbie Ellis. I know you love Cole Hamels, but he's not a Hall of Famer, so not going to happen.
Well, and to your point, though, Utley actually got a higher percentage than Rollins last year. Utley's closer to getting in than Rollins is getting in.
Yeah, I think Rollins is a little more deserving than Utley, despite that. But I know a lot of voters love Utley, the way he played. He played hard. They sometimes, I guess, think Rollins maybe did not always play as hard. So they like the blue-collar Utley approach. But I don't know that either of them are going to get in, but I would definitely vote for Rollins, and I would throw Utley a vote too. Why not? He's borderline.
Well, I think something that's going to be really important is you have Alex Rodriguez on there and you have Manny Ramirez on there.
Going to be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think when this December vote comes with the whatever they call that next committee, that also has Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens on that ballot. If you're going to open the door for Bonds and Clemens on that ballot, you got to open the door for Rodriguez and Ramirez on this ballot, I think. So I think that really changes things. To me, the best player on here probably is Andrew Jones. He should probably be in consideration. So
yeah, I would definitely consider him. Hunter Pence, I'm sorry, not a Hall of Fame.
No. And some of those guys shouldn't even be on this list, I don't think. Yeah. But I'll stick to my guns here, though. I think if you're putting Utley in, you got to put Rollins in. If you're putting Rollins in, you got to put Utley in.
Yeah. As
they should have put Lou Whitaker in with Alan Trammell, and they didn't. And Whitaker never even got enough votes to stay on the ballot, and Trammell got in. It's just not the way it should be. So, We'll see how it goes. Hopefully the Philadelphia faithful get to celebrate another Hall of Famer.
Speaking of celebrating, James Franklin may be celebrating. He got a job, Bill.
He did. He got a job. He is now the head football coach at Virginia Tech. Be interesting to see how recruits jump with him. And speaking of that, back to the Saquon thing. When Saquon was having a lot of problems with this whole contract thing and being franchised and this and that, who'd he call? He called James Franklin.
How about that?
And James Franklin said, you know what? You need to go ball. Go be you. Go ball. James Franklin had a big influence on how things went with Saquon Barkley. Good throw out to Franklin.
Yeah, very nice. Well, congrats to James Franklin.
And with that said, a lot of people don't want anything to do with James Franklin, but you know what? Penn State's got to hire somebody better than him. And time is ticking.
Yeah.
And do you go to the NFL? Do you go for another head coach to try to steal him from somebody, or where you go here?
Gonna be interesting. I don't know the answer to that, but hey, congrats. They finally got a win. They, broke the skid. So good for them. Wrap it up, Bill. I'm hungry. I didn't eat dinner yet.
2 more wins, Nebraska and Rutgers, and they still can make a bowl at 6-6.
Yeah, 6-6. Whoop-de-doo.
Make a bowl. It gives you an extra month of practice.
I guess.
All right. Let's thank tonight's special guest, Kevin Reilly. Our sponsors, the Irish Rover Station House, Cavs Philly Tailgates, PPCC 118 Raz Room. For Jim Chet Chesko, this is Bill Furman. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll join Philly Press Box Radio next Wednesday, November 26th at 7 p.m. You see us live on Facebook, on our Philly Press Box Radio YouTube channel, and on the STT Sports Network YouTube channel. Goodness. And listen on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and all the others. High hopes, Philadelphia sports fans. Go Birds.
Let's do the song. Come on.
your ring.